it's your girl Nomadic Nisa here to tell you think about ESL teaching. Yeah, it's good. It's very good. But let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. Today, let's go over some of the basics, like what to think about before you make that jump into ESL teaching. So, don't mind me, I'm going to be looking at some notes and I want to give you all the details as possible. So, let me take a look and see what we should talk about first. First, let's talk about where. Where do you want to go? Where should you go? So, there are lots of opportunities in lots of different countries. The most popular are Asia, also the Middle East. There are some speckles in Europe, some speckles in Africa, and even some speckles in Central and South America. But the most popular and the most high paying will be in Asia and the Middle East. But my experience mostly is in Asia. So I've taught in South Korea. I taught in South Korea for almost 3 years. And I've been teaching in China for the last 3 years. I'm going into my 4th year now. And I will tell you that Asia has more opportunities because there's a vast number of countries. You have South Korea, you have Japan, you have China, Vietnam, Thailand. You can go anywhere. And then in that cluster of Asian countries is a good way to travel those countries as well. So it's up to you. You have to pick a country that suits you, or maybe you can just look at the jobs and see what they require as well. Now, let's think about the next thing here. What requirements, what qualifications do you need? So, to be an ESL teacher, all you need is your bachelor's degree. It could be in anything. You don't have to have a bachelor's degree in teaching or even education. You can have a bachelor's degree in business. They don't care. However, you do need a TOEFL certificate or a TESOL certificate. So, TOEFL, Teaching English as a Foreign Language certificate, or a TESOL, Teaching English as a Second or Other Language certificate. Now, I will say one thing. Make sure you get the one that's 180 hours. When I first started, especially in China, I had one for 120 hours. That was okay for South Korea. But when I came to China, I needed one that was 180 hours. And here's a trick too. Well, the company that I went for in China, my first year, they actually paid for my certificate and everything. They paid for the classes, and I took the classes online before arriving. So, yes. But then, later on in that same company, I decided to get my Cert TESOL with them, which was a 6-month course that the company provided and also paid for as well. So I have extra there. Now, what else do we need? So, also, you have to be from a native English speaking country. Now, this can be a little difficult depending on certain countries. Like, at one point in China, they did not allow South Africans because technically in South Africa, the native language is not necessarily English, but they've started to allow South Africans. So your native English speaker, you have America, of course, Canada, the UK, Australia, even some speckles like in Ireland and stuff like that as well. And then there's also South Africa. So those are some qualifications there. Criminal record, it better be clean. Yes. You have to have a background check when you're applying for a visa. So they don't want anybody with a criminal record. No one does. Come on, think about it. Especially when you're teaching the future generation. And lastly, make sure your passport is updated and make sure you have at least 5 clear pages because you're going to be getting visas and stuff like that put into those pages. I made that mistake when I came to China. Yes, my mother goes, she's just like, yeah, I told you you were going to stay in China longer than what you actually said you were. So I came to China. My passport was going to expire the next year. I told my mother, I'm only going to stay in China 1 year. Yeah, I always say that when I'm traveling and living abroad. So I had to get a new passport, and that's easy when you're living abroad. You can go to the American embassy or your embassy of your home country in the country that you're living in and get an updated passport. It's okay, even in China, because my visa was in my old passport, but not in my new passport. It was still fine because as long as you carry both of them around, you are just fine. So don't worry about those little things. And I'll give you more details on updating your passport as well in another video. But as far as the qualifications and becoming an ESL teacher, that's pretty much all I have. But one more thing I want to point out here is think about these questions. Question number 1. Are you the type of person that is adaptable? Remember, you're going to a different country. You have to be willing to adapt to different things, different ways of living. You will not be in the same environment of your comfort zone. So you have to be adaptable. And the second question, let's see. The second question, can you handle being far away from home for a very long time? Think about it. I have been in China for 3 years now. I have not gone home whatsoever. I am used to being far away from home. I've been doing it for the last, you might as well say, like 6 to 7 years now. And I'm perfectly okay with that because I've noticed that I thrive more when I am very far from home. When I'm at home, I'm sorry, but I get bored and that doesn't lead to happy thoughts. I love exploring. I love learning new things. I remember when I first came back home from Korea. That year in between Korea and China was not a very good year for me. I came home, I was bored because there was nothing new. Everything was the same. It's like nothing was changing. I wasn't getting anything at all. So that year, that same year, I did online teaching. Yes, you can still be an ESL teacher even if you're at home. It's online teaching. There are opportunities for that. I'll think about that for another video later. But that year, it was just not a good year for me because being abroad and having that experience opens your mind. But when you come back to your comfort zone, it's like, this is not making me feel any better because I'm so used to adapting to new things, being on my toes. Here, I can be as lazy as I want to be and I'm getting nothing out of it. And that's just how I feel. So yes. But that's all the questions that I have for you right now. Maybe later on when I'm thinking about it after making this video, I will figure something out and say, oh, I forgot that question. I forgot to tell you to think about that as well. But for now, that's all I have for thinking about your becoming an ESL teacher and what to prepare for. There will be another detailed video on that process of finding jobs and preparing for the visa process, especially when you choose your country and stuff like that. But until next time, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. You can also share. Go ahead. I don't mind. And this is Nomadic Nisa. Stay tuned for more videos. Bye, everyone.